Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Do you have the ability to share your screen?
Yes.
Perfect. We could get rolling.
Okay. Just give me a second. I can't see my mouse. Okay. So this is the Meltano group conversation for November 29th, 2018. My name is Jacob Schatz. I am leading the Meltano team. Meltano stands for Model, Extract, Load, Transform, Analyze, Notebook, and Orchestrate. And right now in the path to do all of these, we have currently Model, Extract, Load, Transform, and Analyze working. And in the future, we're going to be doing Notebook and Orchestrate. And that's where we're at right now with Meltano. So Meltano takes you from data source to a dashboard. And this is a really big deal with all those steps in between. So if you have a bunch of Salesforce data and you want to dashboard it, there's currently tools out there, but not to the extent that you would really need to see all the information that you would want. And so Meltano makes this quite easy. So accomplishments, we have 3 fantastic new hires. We're currently focusing on Analyze, and it's going really well, and a migration to Snowflake for the data team. So we're splitting our time between the data team and Meltano, the product itself. And so far, people love the demo that we've been giving of Meltano. Our 3 hires are Claudia from UX, Derek, who's starting on Monday, who's going to be doing front end with a focus on front end and UX, and Ben, who's going to be focusing on front end and back end. So we're really covering the gamut, and we're going to be focusing more on the Analyze side of the product. So you should ping them and say hi. We currently have nice, fancy, shiny docs that are up. If you go to meltano.com, the docs are up there and you can go check them out. And for the migration to Snowflake, what that means is that Snowflake is this type of database, and we were using Google Cloud's databases with Postgres, and we're currently migrating all of the data over to Snowflake, all of the actual extract, loads, and transforms over to Snowflake. And that's going to be done on December 31st. For Analyze, our focus is currently to get the joins finished with asymmetric aggregates. And we're working on this as we speak. And we should be done this, I think, as well by the end of the quarter. We have just migrated. What's the reason to migrate from PG to Snowflake? That's definitely a data team question, but we can answer that. Let me finish everything else. But definitely put some questions and I'll catch them all at the end. For Analyze, the great thing about Meltano is that everything is version controllable. And to model and analyze the data, you put your modeling information into these LKML files. We're moving from LKML to MA files. We've currently done that in a branch. It currently uses this LKML syntax, which is very similar to a syntax called UCL. You may have heard of HCL, which is the HashiCorp syntax. We're going to eventually switch over to using UCL. And the switch should be something that's very, very simple to do, because in the end, it all turns into JSON, which we analyze the JSON into a database. But that's not going to happen today. Some concerns is the Snowflake migration will be done, but it'll be close. It's going to be tight. The existing Singer taps, which we've based all of our specifications on Singer for the extract, load, and transforms, the quality of the existing taps are low. They're not as good as we thought that they were. The Singer spec itself is missing some key features, which we are updating, and we're going to contribute upstream to Singer. But we currently have a forked version of the Singer spec. And the question is for one of our user personas that we currently have, which Claudia may change in the future. which is the person who does not have a data team and doesn't really know much about data science. Can we make this simple enough? And the answer is we definitely can. Where we need help, we need people to install it and try it out. Read the docs at meltano.com. Make a merge request to improve those docs and tell us where things don't make sense. Tell us where things are just really confusing. As a new user, you are the most important one, because that initial step from not understanding it to understanding it is a really, really important step. And if we can get that point across, then we've succeeded. So let us know when you try it out, if your installation went smoothly, if you find any bugs, put them into issues. And I'm reading every single issue that comes in, and I know the team is as well. And we're currently working on a getting started tap, basically an extractor that anyone can use without a GitLab API, which is based on carbon data from the UK. So that's something that we're doing. If you think of any other taps that would be useful to you, that would be really simple to help you get started, let us know. And let us know if you want to help write a tap. That would be really great. Carbon data, I can show you I can send a link to the API. It's just an API that links to actual environmental carbon data that is an API that does not have an API key, which is one thing that we really need. We need people to be able to call an API without having to need special access to it. What we need right now is we need a PM. If you know any experienced senior PMs, then send them our way. Meltano is a little bit of a different team, and it's a really fun team to work on. It's a really awesome project. And we also need a GM. If you know any experienced GMs, send them our way as well. Our plans are to currently finish asymmetric aggregates, and by doing that, make the data team want to migrate to Meltano Analyze. And we're working with the data team to find out what things are the most useful to them. We're finding out what customers want, and we are working on getting our second customer, and we're going to integrate tightly with GitLab and add in Airflow. And all of these ideas are individual plans, but they are in no particular order. They're not prioritized in any particular order because they all need to happen. Does anybody have any questions? Let me see if I can stop sharing my screen. Yeah, Keynote's only available on Mac. If you look in the invitation, there's also a PDF that's available. Or you should see a PDF that's available. Let me know if you don't.
Yeah, I don't have any PDF in there.
Oh, okay. I'll send a link to the PDF.
Thanks.
Oh, no, there's 2 drive links in there. I think the second drive link is yeah, the second drive link is the PDF.
Yeah, right. My mistake. Thanks.
No problem. Does anybody else have any other questions? A GM is a general manager, yes, which would act similar to what a CEO role is for Meltano.
Maybe you can drill down to details on this to explain to newcomers in the company why we need a GM for Meltano and why we don't need that for the other teams.
Right. So Meltano is, and Sid, if you want to fill in here, feel free to do so. But Meltano is acting as its own kind of separate entity from GitLab and kind of working on going towards being its own thing. So as being its own individual entity, that's why we would need a GM and the other teams wouldn't, because GitLab does have a GM. GitLab has a CEO.
Yeah, so, and, oh, my video doesn't work, sorry about that. The idea is to have Meltano as a separate product. So at GitLab, we're one product company, which makes everything really easy. And so all the divisions we have are functional. So different functional groups, and we have different kind of stages where people focus on. Meltano is a completely separate product for now. And it might become less separate. We might integrate it with GitLab. Fine, then it will become a stage like everything else. It might become even more distant from GitLab, that we spin it out as a separate company. Right now, we don't know what the future holds. But we're not gonna have them fit with the rest of GitLab because there's no overlap. So it will be, for example, the product manager from Meltano will report to the GM, not to the other product managers when we find a GM. Same for all the other functional groups. So the GM will be responsible for the product. And that's a structure more like other startups. And that allows you to make really, really fast decisions, which you need if a project is still in its early days. Because you got to find a market, you got to find product market fit. So that's why it's a separate structure.
And if anybody has any questions specifically about Meltano, or if you're confused about it, let me know. Usually in these updates, I explain what Meltano is from the beginning, but this time I did not do that. We have a lot of videos on YouTube as well that also explain what Meltano is. Okay. If nobody else has any other questions, thank you so much for, and were there any, would I be able to see the questions on YouTube, Trevor?
Let me double check. I don't believe we do have any, but
okay.
We are good. No questions.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.